I'm feeling quite emotional today, sort of unexplained, I suppose, but I find when I'm in that space, it gives me more clarity about the beauty and the poetry of life. When I'm sitting in a space it's a little bit sorrowful or a little bit challenging. And I was thinking about this a little bit as I was driving in here and thinking about how I really feel like I've come to a place in my life where my greatest gratitude probably sits in those challenges and in the hardships and in the sorrow and in the heart-wrenching situations, probably more so than it does this easy gratitude. Because I know that without them, I wouldn't appreciate the other things. If I wasn't a mother, I wouldn't appreciate sitting down and having a cup of tea like I do, which is like the greatest thing in the universe. If I wasn't busy all the time, I wouldn't appreciate those small moments of rest. If I wasn't injured or ill sometimes, I wouldn't appreciate my health as much as I do. And I realise that the overall thing amongst all of those challenges, like the most challenging of them all is death. And I realised in that if we didn't have death, if that wasn't an absolute guaranteed inevitability, would we have the same appreciation for life? Would that even be a possibility? Where there wasn't this end day to this particular earthly life, I don't think that would be the case. I don't think we could have that same sense of gratitude and appreciation for simply being alive. And when I was younger, when I was a teenager, I thought a lot about suicide. I thought a lot about death. And I was a self-harmer before there was an expression of self-harm. Now I'm going to cry. And in that conceptual thinking about death so often when I was young, I guess I faced that reality of that possibility all the time and thinking about different ways in which to end life. And then that enabled me a real sort of genuine sense of being alive. That anything else that happened, no matter how challenging, was just a temporary thing in this particular journey, in this particular body. And so every time I come back to a different hardship or different challenge, I come back to that, basic foundational gratitude for simply being alive. That I wouldn't have any of the hardships, I wouldn't have any of the colour and the beauty if it wasn't for that aliveness. All of that exists obviously within that big concept. And then when the hardships are really hard, it's like, well, if you were dead, you would have nothing. You would have none of those things, and that would potentially be pretty boring, or at least unknown, because we don't know what's next. I have a very big spiritual view, and I live with a very deep spiritual philosophy these days, and I feel very at peace with that concept of death and what's to come next. But on those particularly hard days when we have quite some really big challenges in our family, with our daughter particularly, that brings some sorrow up each day, but you just keep coming back to that idea that if I wasn't alive, I wouldn't be feeling the good or the bad. So it's really that simple but immense gratitude for aliveness. That's me. Where do you go from there?
That was the biggest, heaviest. Yeah, that's full on. Yeah, what am I supposed to say?
You've got to bring the comedy now, you know that, don't you? To balance it out.
Okay. Well, I can't help saying a comparative thing, because my gratitude sounds superficial next to that. life-changing hugeness.
There's no such thing as comparative gratitude. It's all big, isn't it? It's all beautiful.
Well, I mean, I have to say it's very easy. Lately, we've been I've got 2 kids, and we've just been jumping on the bikes and cruising and going to school and just meeting people on these gorgeous, amazing days, and just, you know, how happy everybody seems in the morning and just chatting. And even if it is that moment, even if they've got the weight of the world on their shoulders, if it's that moment that you share that. I was actually thinking about it yesterday, because it's like Groundhog Day. Like every day you're like, lovely day, isn't it? Yeah, it's great. It's like, why are we up here being surprised that it's a great day? It's always great, or, you know, it's often great. But I've just been doing that repeat Groundhog Day thing of going, hi, yeah, it's a great day, isn't it? It's been really, really fun. And then for me today, I'm a musician, so today I got this tricky little, it finally arrived in the post, this thing that was doing my head in already, but I was really stoked when I got it, that you play basically like drums with your feet. And I've been waiting for it for ages, and I actually haven't been gigging very much, and I haven't got $1 million to my name right at the moment, so I really had to sort of get money from here and there to get it to happen. And then I'm just about to do a big long tour, and I actually had to say to the people who make them, who were kind of hooking me up a little bit with it, oh, can I just pay you for the rest of that halfway through the tour? So, I just need to get it now and get it happening. And they said, yeah, no worries. But that's something, I was just talking to a guy at the studio and just talking about how, when you've got heaps of money and everything, you don't even think about it. You just buy a bit of gear or anything you need, and it's just there, and you just get it, and and you don't. But I, for the first time with this thing, had the experience of actually being absolutely stoked, and I've been waiting for it, and I've seen every YouTube video, and I know how everything works as soon as it comes. And I haven't done that for a very long time, and it's just another one of those things where without that lack of that thing, I wouldn't have so much meaning and be so stoked about it. So I guess in that sense, I'm sort of grateful for that little bit of adversity, of financial adversity, to make me appreciate things a little more. And I do really agree with that thing that just like when everything's cruising along and there's not a problem, it is almost impossible for a human being, wired how we are, to really appreciate things for what they really are. And so I think, you can always be grateful for the flip side of the coin, when that it sort of it brings you back to a great starting point again to really appreciate things and start seeing things exactly how they really are. And that's when you are feeling grateful, because you're actually realizing how good they really are. When you're stuck in your mind and everything's going great, half the time you don't even realize how good things are. So it's actually the darkness can actually show you how much light there really is.